Yeah, and joining us today is Balan Moodley, who is the CEO of ProTech, a national non-profit that is actively preparing South Africa's youth for careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in a country facing both environmental crisis and a shortage of STEM professionals. Moodley argues that growing a new generation of climate conscious engineers, scientists, and technologists is not just necessary, it's urgent. And of course, this is on the back as we reflect on International Mother Earth Day, International Day for Biological Diversity, and as we prepare for World Environmental Day. Mr. Moodley, good morning and thanks for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, before we just get into this conversation, why is this something, Balin, that is bothering you? Why is it something that you're thinking about?
Sam, if one looks at, where we've come through, as a country, and, so many of us didn't have an opportunity. And there's so many of us right now still do not have an opportunity. I think that's why I'm with ProTech and, here for 15 years, is just to make that difference, giving people an opportunity. And that's what, we require. And of course, the skill levels, I think in your opening remarks, you mentioned that, we've got too few skilled, engineers and technicians, etc., as well as we've got a lot that's, moving out of the country as well. So a lot of the skills is
Yeah.
leaving as well. So we've got to produce people, and that's why, I do what I do.
Yeah, and I think ProTech, just for to let our audiences know, has really been one of those organizations and institutions. I followed the journey. I get the press releases, the results, the kind of work that you do. You've really done remarkable work when it comes to getting young people to understand STEM.
Yes, no, absolutely. I think one of the challenges was firstly getting people interested in it and also trying to remove this myth about how difficult math is. Because, I mean, many people, I think, are even told by their teachers and certain schools. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure you would have seen in the press so many schools that don't even offer mathematics. So it is, something that's close to my heart because we need to just give people this opportunity. And I mean, just a background to Protect. Project was started in 1982, and it was to develop engineers in the country, black engineers, at the time when we were still in apartheid days. And I mean, if you look at where we are now, I thought, having gone beyond 30 years of our democracy, we may not need, organizations like Project, but I think we need them more now than ever
Yeah.
to produce the skills that we require.
Yeah, and especially where we're heading in terms of that competitiveness level globally, we need our young people to embrace the skill set that's going to make South Africa competitive.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at what we need, I mean, we need to develop the critical skills that we require. I mean, problem solving, critical thinking, creativity and innovation. I mean, and that's all what we require. And the thing is, if we leave it just to our education system, it's not going to do it. I think it's going to need all of us to play a role to get this thing moving.
Yeah, I agree with you. You wrote a thought provoking, a thought leadership piece on STEM, and you're asking the big question, right? It's a big question. You're asking how do we as South Africa, in terms of our environmental reality, in the current climate, make STEM careers more important than ever? That's the big question you're asking in your article. How do we do that?
Absolutely. I think the one thing is getting people or learners interested in STEM from a younger age. I mean, at the moment, if you look at how much effort is put in, into the FET phase in schools, and that's after learners have already even selected subjects. And so we are not getting to, get them to understand the concepts in engineering and make them interested. I mean, science can be so exciting. And that's what we've done. I mean, we've got a program that's commencing in grade 4 now, where we are now taking science labs to the schools because we know many of the schools are not equipped. And if you look at the enthusiasm coming out of these learners, I mean, we're doing it on a small scale now, but that's something we want to ramp up, is to get this throughout the country. At the moment, we're running it in Gauteng and more soon in the Western Cape. And then we want to, funding is important for us to take it to the rest of the country. But if you look at the enthusiasm now from these learners, once they start seeing these science concepts and so forth, they are coming up with ideas. I mean, we even got challenges for them to think about their own community. And I mean, they've had to do some projects like water conservation
Yeah.
and how do they purify water, for example. Those are the kind of things now they are taking what they are learning in school and adapting it to some of the challenges that they've got in their communities.
Yeah, I think that's very, very important. I think the other thing also that we I think for the longest time we did glamorize medicine and finance, but we haven't really. And I know in some instances I'm speaking anecdotally here, but just the sense that I've gotten as having been a journalist for so long now, that there has been an uptake. There has been conversations around things like environmental science, engineering, and green tech, but we're nowhere near the level of conversation we've had for years for getting our children. At one point, all of us wanted to be doctors. It was just a kind of a given. Everybody wanted to be a lawyer. How do we advance these conversations to make sure that we start getting the rest of these industries at the same level where it becomes attractive for young people?
Yeah, no, Sam, I think the point you're making, it bears out in our results, in matric. If you look at the number of learners that take up pure math as a subject, and then physical science, it's only about a third of the learners. So almost two-thirds of the learners are not, moving in that direction. And the question has to be why. And it's a problem earlier in the schooling phase, is because they are not enticed into the sciences, and people are telling them maths is too difficult, and that's
Mm.
the what they live with and take through. Now, it's important for us to have industry join us in this journey, because I mean, ultimately, they're going to need these skills in future. I mean, all the time, the skills are required, and they are losing skills. I mean, and then through normal attrition, people are moving out of the um, job market. And these youngsters, if we don't produce the skills that these organizations need, we are, going to be nowhere as a country. So it is important for, I think, industry to join us in this journey as well, because taking learners into the working environment, showing them what happens in these um, manufacturing plants and so forth. That's what's going to excite them.
Yeah.
Just talking or producing these things through a book. I mean, most of our learners are visual. They want to see these things and ask the questions, and but that's not afforded to them, and that's what we need to start earlier in the journey. Is take these learners into industry for them to be understand. Also bring industry leaders into the schools and start talking to these learners about, and make science exciting, and which it is, but they don't get the opportunity to see this.
And it's so interesting that you mentioned that, Balin, because immediately as you talk about bringing industry into school, we have career days. Many schools, many institutions have them. Are you saying to me, or I might be silly, I might be reading between the lines, are you saying that career days are not enough?
Definitely not enough, because you see the career days are targeting learners that are moving more towards grade 12, that are just about to select their uh, higher education environment, what they're going to study further. So the target is there. But if you don't introduce the sciences and the concepts and make science exciting from an early age, I would say, right from grade 4 onwards, we're going to have a problem, because our numeracy and literacy level as of grade 4 is extremely poor. And that's why, our
Yeah.
revised model,
I think it's
we were only
80%,
working with
right? It's
That's right.
80%. Yeah.
That's correct. So I mean, our focus was FET phase all this time. But through a strategy session we had 2 years ago with the board and so forth, we said, no, we've got to start tackling the problem much earlier. And that's why we've introduced now from grade 4 to grade 12, both teacher and learner. Because if we don't take the teachers along this journey and for them to understand, we're going to have teachers telling learners maths is too difficult, science is too difficult, so we're going to steer you in a different direction. So that's why we've got a strong teacher focus as well now as ProTech, because
Yeah.
of the message that's getting through to these youngsters.
So when I read your article, your thought leadership piece, I didn't know, and I think I'm not the only one, and I'm happy to say I'm not the only one. I don't think I'm alone in this category. I didn't know that careers like environmental engineers, soil scientists, and solar specialists are on the scarce skills list. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's shocking that, people, in the general public don't know this. Those skills, I mean, we've lost a lot. You must know, lots of people have, moved out of South Africa with those skills. And we are not generating enough as well. The pipeline is not big enough. So, and people are still moving, towards like, the more fancied, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering. But they don't understand there's these other, careers that they can pursue. And
That
that's
could
what we
literally
need to do.
That could literally, if you're a parent and you have a conversation with your child, could literally change their life. Because I can only imagine where these type of jobs or these kind of careers, where it will take you in the world. I mean, it can take you anywhere in the world.
Absolutely. And that's, we now, part of our program is getting the parents involved as well. Because, I mean, it's pointless us talking to the learners, and yet the parents now are forcing them in a different path. So if the parents fully understand what's available out there, so that's also important. So when I spoke about industry, it's also parents
Yeah.
to be, to take them through this journey as well.
Yeah, and I think from watching the ProTech journey and just even now reading this article, this thought leadership piece that you put together, there is obviously, from a ProTech perspective, a real drive to turn awareness into action. And you spoke about some of the projects and programs that you guys have developed. But have you seen the change in those children? I mean, this platform is built to only talk about positive stories and to lift up brands, and so that South Africans can know which brands are doing what. And our job and our mandate is Mondays to Fridays is to share positive stories. What are one or two positive stories that you can share with us in terms of the kind of work that ProTech has done with young people?
Yeah, like I was saying, we last year, started in a grade 4 environment, right, from grade 4. And we're running this in 3 of the districts in Gauteng. Now, because the funder is yet to launch this, I don't want to mention the name just yet. But we've got some videos and so forth which I can share with you shortly. But if you look at these learners and even the teachers in the school, because I said it's a teacher and learner program, I mean, if you see the enthusiasm coming through, and not only the enthusiasm, we've looked at their results. We started around July last year, and we then looked at the comparative listening after we've introduced the workshops for the teachers, the school support visits, bringing the mobile science labs into their schools. We saw a complete uptake in results in maths and science. And you must know at the lower grades, it's natural science. So it's, inclusive of physical sciences, the technology, etc. So when we looked at this, just after one term, we're already starting to see the upward tick in results because now they, firstly, are physically doing the experiment. And they visualizing it and touch and feel. So all that is playing the role in improving the way they understand science and maths. And now you're seeing the results also starting to pick up.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, look, Balin, we've run out of time, but for people that want to follow ProTech, find out more, for organizations that want to get involved, young people that want to find out more about ProTech, where can they go?
Well, we're on social media as ProTech STEM, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. We also got a website, www.protech.org.za. And, even if they want to drop us an email on info@protech.org.za, they're most welcome to do that, and we can share with them whatever. If you look at our website as well, I mean, we're very transparent. All our results, our financials, everything is published on the website, so people can, understand who we are, what we
Yeah.
do, and how we do it as well.
Yeah, and just for those that are wondering how to spell ProTech, it's PROTEC. So you can go to their platforms and check out the amazing work that they've been doing. And to Balan's point, I mean, an organization that's been around since the 80s. So you can imagine just the lessons learned, lived experience, and the results they've been able to achieve. Balan Moodley, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. We appreciate you.
Thank you. No, thank you so much for the opportunity as well. And yeah, by all means, we'll chat again, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You're always welcome. That's Balan Moodley. He wrote an article and he's asking us to think about South Africa's youth and careers in science, technology, engineering, and maths. And he's saying that in a country facing both environmental crisis and a shortage of STEM professionals, that there might be a need for us to think about growing a new generation of climate conscious engineers, scientists, and technologists. And it's not just about it being necessary, that it's urgent. Go and check out the article. It's on their website.